welcome back to SoundBytes. I'm Namuka and I'm here with Bertrand. Now, when we last saw our heroes, we discussed the what and the why of the Redfish API, which is the RESTful API for managing scale-out servers like PowerEdge. And we know that using APIs and employing automation can seem intimidating to some customers, but thankfully PowerEdge has taken a lot of steps to make it much easier. So Bertrand, can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, for sure. So customers, as we know, are leveraging more and more APIs to do their server management. And there's some very good reasons for that, especially around repeatability of actions and the ability to manage multiple servers at once. But when you build an API, when you create an API, you need a couple of things. Primarily, you need a technical specification, which is going to describe the structure and the design of your API. And then you need the actual implementation of your API. For the Redfish implementation, for the structure and design of the API, Dell has basically chosen the OpenAPI framework, the OpenAPI specification, because it's a standard specification that is in use by other APIs, which means that it basically allows customers to easily adopt it.
It makes sense. It seems like you can really hit the ground running when it comes to server management, with all that forethought they put into it. Totally. Can you expand on some of the main things that OpenAPI specification requires APIs to have?
Yeah, so when we look at an OpenAPI API, it really requires, it's all described into a document, into a description document. And that document can be in two formats. It can be YAML or it could be JSON. The benefit there is that both of those languages are well understood within the developer community, which means that there's no real barrier of adoption. So for instance, if we look at the Redfish definition, in the definition document, it would have something like the general API information. So what it is, what it does, and so on and so forth. It would have the description of the endpoints that we can interrogate through GET or POST request. It would also have the description of the parameters that those endpoint requires and those requests requires. It would have the responses, as well as importantly, the authentication, because obviously we're talking about server management, meaning that we need a way to make sure that only the right person can do what they're supposed to do.
I see. And, I can imagine that PowerEdge with its resources and power, pun intended, could have easily made their own specification. Is there a reason why they chose OpenAPI?
Yeah, so the OpenAPI was created by a company called Swagger, which then was absorbed by the OpenAPI Consortium, which is a consortium made of companies that are bringing best practices that have been developed over the year in the creation and the design of OpenAPI. So really, by using OpenAPI, Dell basically leverages all of that common knowledge around how to best create APIs that have been gathered by all of those companies over the years.
It's really great to see companies actually working together to advance technology. And, we're not reinventing the wheel, which is always nice. And I really get that supporting the standard benefits the community overall. But for PowerEdge customers specifically, who use Redfish, how does being OpenAPI compliant help?
The main benefit is the decoupling between the definition of the API and the actual implementation of the API. That is very important, because what that means that we as Dell can now change the implementation in the background without having to update the definition. And so that decoupling is very important. The other benefit of using OpenAPI is that the OpenAPI specification is really for RESTful APIs, and that means that Redfish is a REST API. And what that really means is that it can be interrogated by a multitude of clients. So it can be leveraged by clients such as iDRAC, such as Open Managed Enterprise, but also for customers that are more around automation, they can leverage Python, they can leverage Ansible. But also for customers that are looking to adopt it and just discover it, you can even use something like a web browser, because it's all standard protocol, standard specification. So really the benefit is that it removes all barriers of adoption to Redfish for customers.
Whoa, that's really intuitive indeed. And I want to thank you, Bertrand, for helping us simplify the OpenAPI. I definitely see its benefits now. And thank you guys for watching and stay tuned for our next soundbite.